What's up, soldiers? Your boy Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. In today's recipe, we're doing turkey meatballs. Now, here's the thing. A certain child in this house trying to convince me that she no longer eats pork. She's gonna struggle because pork cooks on the regular. I don't discriminate when it comes to meats. But anyways, turkey meatballs, you're gonna like this one, man. Not Caribbean, so it won't be posted on CaribbeanPot.com, but however I will post it on ChrisDelaRosa.com for those of you who want something to print out. So here we go, turkey meatballs. I'm gonna do it in a sort of a quick tomato sauce, marinara, whatever. You're gonna like this one, man. Fire it up. I've got a mixing bowl here, something big enough where I can easily mix all the meat and everything else that I'm using. Now, here's a tip I learned from Marco Pierre White. Instead of using breadcrumbs, which a lot of people tend to go for, I saw him use a slice of white bread. Just like so. You're just going to take all the white parts out there. So with that white bread in there, and what this does, because we're using this white bread, for some reason, it makes for a much lighter meatball. No concentrating there, but what he usually does, and what I do now, I add some milk and just move that around in there and let that milk soak up into the bread. Just play it around a little bit there. So we've got that bread in there. Excuse me. Then I'm going to go in with my sort of seasonings. So I got some black pepper, some salt, chopped parsley, a small onion diced, and if you want to add a spice to this, a little touch of nutmeg or allspice would be great. I'm just trying to keep it basic at this point here. I'm just going to give that a quick mix. I like mixing it here because once I add the ground turkey to this, and I'm using a lean ground turkey, I don't want to overwork it. So give that a good mix. And now is when we're going to add the ground turkey. Now it's just a matter of adding the ground turkey to the bowl here. And you can use a fork or a spoon or something to do this. But all you want to do is give that a good mix. It's almost like kneading flour, but try not to overwork it, as I said. Just about a minute or so, 30 seconds of working that. And then all you would do, you can measure it out if you want. Take a teaspoon or tablespoonful and roll it into your little meatballs, like so. I have a nice wide frying pan here with about 1/4 cup of olive oil. If you wanted on a medium heat, if you wanted to bake these off in the oven, middle rack, 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 20 minutes. But I much prefer to fry them off. If you want to keep it healthy, I mean, so you can certainly make them in the oven. And all I want to do is cook these off. I'm going to cook it maybe 3/4 of the way. And the rest of the way I'm going to finish it off in a basic tomato sauce. So just a matter of putting them all in the pot here. And then flipping them to cook them all the way around. Just wanted to quickly mention that my heat is on a medium-low, closer to low than medium. Because I want these to cook all the way through without actually burning. We do want some color, but I want to make sure that they're cooked all the way through. So I just gave them a quick flip here because I want the other sides to cook off evenly and develop some color. One of the things I forgot to mention to you all is that you can also go in with some freshly grated Parmesan cheese in the mix. I don't have much Parmesan cheese, so I'm saving it for when I'm making the sauce near the end. That's when I'm going to go in with my Parmesan cheese. But I would recommend adding some Parmesan cheese to the turkey meatballs as well. Since I'm finishing these up in my sauce, got some color, that's cool. I'm going to take them out of the pot here at this point, the pan at this point. I should be using tongs, but see what. And then we're going to get to making the actual sauce. Now, if you want this cooked a bit more color, you can certainly do that. Just going to put them, set it aside, and then get to making the basic sauce for it. The same frying pan that I fried the meatballs in, I reserved about a tablespoon of the oil left in there, and I'm going to go in with 3 cubes cloves of garlic. My heat is on low. Cubes, listen to me. So I'm just going to do that, and what I'm using is a marinara sauce out of a bottle. I'm not going to show you the name because they ain't really paying me no money, but this one is really good. So get something good. We're cheating here at this point, so get something good, something you enjoy, nothing that gives you, that some of them have that sort of metallic taste. Nah boy, I can't recommend that. So 2 minutes on that garlic, well no, less than a minute actually, because I don't want it to burn, but a very low heat. And then I'm going to go in for a little kick. I have one of these chili peppers, well we call it bird pepper in the Caribbean. I diced up one of them fine. If you have access to some fresh basil, that would be wicked in this as well. I'm just going to let that go for another 30. As the garlic slowly goes there, I'm going to go in with a bit of fresh oregano. Well, dried oregano, but fresh into the pot, I guess. Give that a quick move around. Next up, we're going to go in with some of that marinara sauce. Turn my heat up now because I want to bring this up to a bubble. These bottle sauces usually have a bit of a tartness to them, so I like going in with a bit of brown sugar in there. And here's where we're going to go in back. And Chris making a mess again. With those meatballs. Bring that up to a boil and then let that simmer for about 5 minutes to bring everything together. The last minute or so, just before we turn the heat off actually, you can go in with some basil, parsley, as well as I'm going to put that Parmesan cheese to work. Just want to mention a couple things before we finish off this video here. If you wanted to use a basic tomato sauce, you can go ahead and do that. A passata or something would be great. Taste it for salt and adjust it. I know I don't want any salt in this because I'm trying to cut back on the amount of salt. And speaking about salt, the Parmesan that I'm adding now will give it a sort of a salty kick as well too. So keep that in mind. Go in with a nice dose of that Parmesan there. That parsley I spoke about. And remember I said if you have some basil, rock that basil, man. This recipe, being it's not Caribbean, will be posted on chrisdelarosa.com if you want something to print off. Always a pleasure to have you guys here in the kitchen with me. A little more cheese is never bad. Vibes it up, man.